Hey, Desert Rat.
What's up, boss?
You see my bag? I can't find it.
Jesus, to think I followed this man into combat. Take a look in the comms area.
What the hell? It's not here either.
Right now, I wouldn't follow him into water.
Is Sergeant Slaughter playing a joke on me again?
Who?
My name is Sergeant Slammer, Special Drill Instructor for Action Force.
Sorry, my mistake.
Grab your gear and start hot-footing it.
But Sergeant, I can't find my bag.
Maybe a little KP will help you get the lead out.
It's no problem, Sarge. I'll find it.
Condor, what does your bag look like?
Ditty bag. An itty-bitty ditty bag.
At this rate, I'll never make it to Joe Fest 2022.
Hey, Desert Rat, wait for me.
Screw you, I'm going it alone. I've got swarm to swat and autographs to sign.
Now that's what I call a challenge.
Later, squeezers. I've been waiting over a year for this day to arrive, and I know that many of you have waited even longer than that. So I'm extremely pleased to say that in the studio today we have the entire Series 1 of the new Valaverse Action Force toy line. We have every single product from this exciting new military themed toy line, including every different action figure and all of the gear and weapons packs. And in this very special video, we're going to conduct an in-depth review of Action Force Series 1, as well as talk a little bit about the history of this iconic brand. We'll be covering the packaging, the articulation of the figures, the paint applications, the accessories, and much, much more, while also comparing these products to the other 6-inch scaled military action figure line on the market today, Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classifieds range. So strap yourselves in, because it's time for action.
Come with me, toy fans.
Hey toy fans, my name is Tony and... Oi, you're dismissed. Huh? Get out of my chair, you horrible little man. Okay. Attention Action Force fans, my codename is Desert Rat, and today I'm going to put this Action Force squad through the most grueling Special Forces selection assessment they've ever attempted. Today I want to find out if these candidates can make the grade. I want to know if they're Action Force as fuck. Series 1 of Action Force consists of 6 highly detailed core characters produced in the popular 6-inch action figure scale, along with 3 differently fatigued basic trooper figures, weapon accessory packs Alpha and Bravo, 3 tactical gear sets, and a unique backpack set. Also available in Series 1 are 2 exclusive products, including the BotCon exclusive Wasp Raider figure and the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Declassified Gear Pack. And with such a variety of state-of-the-art equipment and troopers available in Series 1, this line is expansive in a way that no other line around today can compete with. Each core character comes packaged in a really nice window display box. The Action Force logo is located across the bottom of the box, and in the corner is that gorgeous green Valaverse company logo. The side panel features some stunning art, which is unique to each character, and on the back of the box we have the cross-sell on the top and the character's file card on the bottom, which can be cut out, a feature that harkens back to the Action Force International Heroes era of the late 1980s, as do the action points, that you can also cut out and save up for future Action Force offers. When you remove the blister from the box, you find the action figure in the top centre, with their weapons and accessories neatly displayed down either side of the blister. Situated behind the figure's legs, you'll find the excellent Action Force figure stand, and in many cases there are additional hands hidden behind the stand that couldn't fit elsewhere in the blister. All of these troopers features the same impressive level of articulation, which is some of the best I've ever seen in a modern action figure without paying a ridiculous price. The heads are on a ball disc joint so that figures can look up and down and all around the normal field of view of a human. There are butterfly joints in the shoulders, along with bicep articulation, pinless double jointed elbows, and wrist articulation that cleverly features a range of movement depending on which interchangeable hand is being used. All Valaverse action figures also feature torso articulation, a ball jointed waist and ball jointed drop down hips, along with upper thigh swivel, pinless double jointed knees, boot rotation, and finally a pair of disc rocker ankles. These troopers are also highly customisable, with a wide variety of interchangeable parts. The heads can be easily popped off their ball joint and placed onto any other figure you like, because they all have the same size joint, which is something you don't often see in other 6-inch scaled figure lines, causing massive frustration for collectors who like to customise. Some of the figures, such as Condor and the basic troop builders, even come with alternate heads, so Condor can don a balaclava, or the troop builders can be either Caucasian or a person of colour. It is also possible to swap the torsos on different figures, but I highly recommend that you warm the joint up first, using either a warm water bath or a hairdryer, before attempting to pop the torso off the ball joint. Once you achieve this, you can create some fantastic looking customs, such as a sleeveless Sergeant Slaughter. Every figure also comes with multiple sets of interchangeable hands, including fists, gripping hands, pistol grip hands, and combat grip hands. And much like the waist joint, I also recommend heating the wrist prior to swapping out the hands, so you can avoid breaking the peg off your Steel Brigade's fist like I did. Another awesome item that was included with every single trooper is the Action Force figure stand, and this is an excellent piece of kit. These stands are nice and wide and have the Action Force logo moulded into the centre. They also feature 4 pegs to give you a wide variety of stance options, and the connections are so secure you can even pose your figures on one leg without fear of them toppling over. There is also a narrow groove at the rear of the stand that can be used to display your trooper's file card to stunning effect. I truly believe these excellently designed stands will be a big hit with collectors, who will also want to use them on their other 6-inch scaled action figures. So a message for Valaverse: I highly recommend you start selling multi-packs of these stands. Before we assess each individual trooper, I want to give you a little bit of a history of the Action Force unit. And there's a lot to cover here, so I'm going to try and make this pretty quick. See if you can keep up. All the way back in 1964, the Hasbro Toy Company introduced the world's first action figure in the form of their hugely popular 12-inch G.I. Joe line. 2 years later, in 1966, the Palitoy Toy Company acquired a license to sell this range of action figures in the United Kingdom. But because G.I. Joe was a distinctly American name that was deemed unsuitable for British marketing, the Palitoy Company changed the name to Action Man. Initially, the Action Man line was simply a range of rebranded Hasbro G.I. Joe product, but as the line continued to be successful in the 1970s, Palitoy began designing their own Action Man sets, which transformed the line into a quintessentially British brand that went on to win the first and only Toy of the Decade award to ever be bestowed upon a British toy line. But then in 1978, the Kenner Star Wars line was released, and it changed the game forever. This globally popular range of action figures and toy vehicles revolutionised the way that children played, paving the way for the 3 3/4 inch scale to become the most popular action figure scale of the 1980s. This sweeping trend inspired Palitoy to shrink Action Man down from his original 12-inch scale to the 3 3/4 inch scale, and they renamed the brand Action Force in 1982. This new line of action figures and vehicles remained immensely popular, right up until Palitoy was sadly closed for business in 1985. However, the British toy market would see Action Force return in 1987, this time simply being a rebranded Hasbro G.I. Joe A Real American Hero line, and being renamed Action Force International Heroes. In 1989, the branding changed again to G.I. Joe The Action Force, before finally succumbing and simply being called G.I. Joe. And after that, the Action Force unit was disbanded for a very long time, until its triumphant return that's happening right now in 2021. The man behind this exciting new evolution of Action Force is Bobby Valor, a former Hasbro toy designer who created some of the very best Marvel Legends 6-inch action figures, and a designer who was also awarded the Toy of the Year in 2018 for his work on the Guardians of the Galaxy Dancing Groot figure. After leaving Hasbro, Bobby formed the Valaverse Toy Company in 2019 and acquired the Action Force trademark, where he started developing this new range of 6-inch scaled, military-themed action figures and accessories. But Bobby didn't want to just bring us a collection of random action figures, so he returned to the 1980s roots of Action Force and introduced us to the dynamic and intriguing story of Action Force by way of a comic book. These mission file reports are dated 2028 and describe a situation where the United States is no more and all states have become independent republics, with the former state of Texas declaring themselves a new empire known as New Colonia. When the threat of New Colonia spreads through the other republics, it forces their leaders to take action. A protective force is needed to counteract these expanding threats, so each republic chooses their top military specialists to come together as one unit, an action force. These elite men and women immediately lead successful missions against Kerak and his garrison, and members of Action Force have sworn to protect the citizens and bring peace to the new republics. The main hero of the first few comic issues is Condor, a British SAS captain who was working in the United States as a military liaison officer when he witnessed the dissolution of the Union and chose to join the ranks of Action Force and fight back against New Colonia and the Swarm. Before he joined Action Force, Condor and I used to serve together in the SAS. I was his mentor and the senior sergeant in his troop, and he was the troop's commanding officer. And it's been quite a while since I've seen my old friend, so why don't we put my old boss through a really arduous Special Forces test. In today's challenge, Condor is competing against Flint, and the reason I've opted to square him off against this member of the G.I. Joe team is because Condor is a British field officer, and Flint filled the same role in the now disbanded Action Force International Heroes unit. On the face of it, these two candidates look quite similar, but nothing could be further from the truth. First of all, let's start with the price point. Flint sells for around $25 US, while Condor retails for $32. And that may seem like quite the difference, but let's take a closer look and see what each unit is getting for their money. Flint is equipped with a removable beret and belt and a tactical vest that I'm reluctant to call an accessory because it isn't easily removable. And he is armed with a shotgun and a pistol and holster. Condor, on the other hand, is equipped with a helmet that includes removable ear protection and night vision goggles, an alternate head with flame retardant hood, a tactical belt and a drop leg medic pouch, a body armor vest that is easily removable, a tactical knife that can be sheathed on the back of the vest, and he is armed with a pistol that is carried in a drop leg holster, and a Scar assault rifle that has a removable magazine and 2 spare magazines that can be carried in the pouches on the front of the vest. Condor also comes with no less than 4 different pairs of hands and an action figure stand. So this is what you get for $25 and this is what you get for $32. Now, which candidate do you think is better deserving of Special Forces status? Wait, don't answer that yet. Let's dig a little deeper. Flint's pistol holster is similar to every other generic holster in the G.I. Joe classified line, and only features a single leg strap. And anyone who's ever worn a drop leg holster in combat will tell you that you need 2 straps to keep the holster firmly in position. Condor has a drop leg holster with 2 straps, a supporting backplate, and the holster itself is specially designed for this pistol. And when we get to the other members of Action Force, you'll realise that there are several unique holsters issued to this elite unit. Next, we have each character's main weapon. For Flint, we have a pump-action shotgun that breaks open, which was clearly designed by some squeezer with zero knowledge of firearms. Condor is armed with a Scar, a real-world assault rifle, and the design and sculpting here is extremely accurate. On top of that, the G.I. Joe Armory manufactures most of its weapons in PVC, making them quite bendable, with several examples having warp barrels straight out of the packaging. The Valaverse Action Force weapons are all made from ABS plastic, which is far more rigid and allows for much finer detailing in the sculpt. So while the Valaverse figures do cost $7 more, if you're anything like me, you'd rather spend those extra defence funds to ensure your unit is properly equipped for combat. Alright gentlemen, that concludes today's assessment. Flint, pack your bags, you're not good enough for Action Force. Condor, saddle up, because we got Swarm to swat. In addition to Condor's superior loadout, we also have a stunning face sculpt and some really well done face printing. Quite the handsome geezer, isn't he? The sculpting on this figure, from the tread on the boots to the pockets on the sleeves, is 100% on point. Condor's tactical vest is also brimming with detail, from the British flag on the chest to the Xylem sticks above the mag pouches. And of course, I adore the SAS badge on the figure's left shoulder. The factory paint is top quality as well, and unlike a lot of other toy lines, this even extends to the accessories, such as the buckles on the drop leg straps and the blade of his combat knife. Condor is one mighty fine looking trooper. Now it's time to inspect the Steel Brigade. Steel Brigade is the code name for the Action Force Support Squadron, who are expertly trained as the unit's Quick Reaction Force, or QRF for short. And the basic troopers are equipped with much of the same equipment as Condor, but they are easily distinguished by their unique helmets. They also come with top secret dossiers and a unit patch, which is Action Force as fuck. Most Steel Brigade troopers are armed with an assault rifle with an underslung 40mm grenade launcher, and like Condor, they also carry spare magazines on the front of their body armour. But when this trooper first arrived at the barracks, his magazines were upright and facing forward in the pouches. And this isn't necessarily incorrect, everyone has a personal preference. But today I'm going to teach the Steel Brigade how me and Condor used to carry our magazines in the SAS. Condor and I carry our spare magazines upside down and facing backwards, and there are two tactical reasons for doing this. Firstly, if a trooper has to take cover quickly and hits the deck in the prone position, the pouches on the front of the vest are highly likely to take a knock, and this can sometimes dislodge a round from the magazine. But by carrying the mags in the pouches upside down, they won't lose that round of ammo as it will get caught in the bottom of the pouch. Because we carry our magazines upside down in the pouches, we also have to have them facing backwards, because this allows for the most efficient magazine change possible. Let me illustrate what I'm talking about. You can see in this footage that I'm grabbing the bottom of the magazine, and then by pivoting my wrist upward, I turn the magazine from the 6 o'clock to the 12 o'clock position and insert it into the magazine housing. At no point during this magazine change am I altering my grip on the magazine, making for the most efficient transition possible, which also reduces the chances of me fumbling and dropping the mag. And there's a free tip for you badass operators out there. And you thought this was a toy review video. This level of elite training is the reason why the Steel Brigade were promoted from Tier 2 Special Forces operators in G.I. Joe to the Tier 1 Special Forces unit Action Force. And another legendary soldier to complete this unit transfer is Sergeant Slaughter. The Sarge was a true legend of the G.I. Joe team in the 1980s, and now he's come out of retirement to further his legacy within Action Force. In his new role as a special advisor to Action Force, Sergeant Slaughter remains instantly recognisable as he still wears his signature campaign hat and sunglasses. The Sarge is dressed in combat fatigue pants and an olive jacket, and is armed with a nickel-plated Colt Python and a stunning Bowie knife that has an eagle's head sculpted into the hilt. And this is easily the best Sergeant Slaughter action figure ever created. Action Force will return after these messages.
Action Force toys, the battle has just begun.
Driver, Action Force!
When the American government fractures and states become independent republics, the threat of new colonia spreads, and only Action Force can stop them. Fearless combat leader Condor teams up with the Steel Brigade and Special Advisor Sergeant Slaughter to battle it out against the terrifying Kerak, the evil Bone Collector, and a swarm army. In this war, there's no room for nerf, except nothing but the highest caliber. Action Force makes your other figures look like pussies. Use your action points to send away for an exclusive action figure, codenamed PTSD, complete with 1,000-yard stare action feature. You want figures with the biggest balls in the business? Then collect your own Action Force today. Figures each sold separately from Valaverse. Now back to Action Force. The most high-profile enemy of Action Force is former Army officer Reginald Richards, who now goes by the mantle of Kerak, and leads New Colonia's garrison as a medieval army waging an all-out war. The design of this fan-favourite action figure was heavily inspired by the character Van Zan from the 2002 film Reign of Fire. And here you can see the similarities from the bald head and beard to the sleeveless bomber jacket. Kerak has a vicious reputation and a fearsome presence, which is further bolstered by the medieval helmet that he wears into battle and his choice of edged weapons. Kerak carries both a Bowie knife and an axe, but he is also armed with firearms in the form of a Colt 45 pistol and a Mossberg shotgun. When not in use, Kerak carries this shotgun in a back-mounted holster, and while this weapon is an unpainted all-black version, Valaverse have offered us an alternative painted version in one of the weapons packs. But I'll talk more about those weapons packs later in the video. The ruthless Arthur Allen is infamously nicknamed the Bone Collector. Allen is a mercenary of sorts who commands his own small army, and he has formed a loose alliance with Kerak. The Bone Collector wears a skull mask when heading into battle, and this mask is so beautifully sculpted and painted, it is one of the standout accessories in the Series 1 range. The Bone Collector also likes to be well armed for combat, carrying an assault rifle with M203 grenade launcher and a nickel-plated Desert Eagle pistol, and he carries his spare magazines in a drop leg holster, with his 40mm grenade strapped across the front of his unique body armour, which has a sheath fitted to the back where he can carry his cookery knife. The Bone Collector has a truly menacing appearance and is another fine example of the stunning character designs created by Valaverse. Before I got these figures in hand, the character I was most looking forward to receiving was Condor, because I've always had a preference more towards military than science fiction or fantasy. But now that they are here and I can actually put them through their paces, the trooper I love the most is the Swarm. This trooper has such a striking design, from the colour choices and the sculpting of the costume, to the logo on the chest and the translucent yellow eyes. The Swarm will really pop in your action figure display. The basic Swarm Trooper is equipped with a unique belt harness and tactical vest, and is armed with a pistol and combat knife and a Vector submachine gun. But to literally elevate this trooper to a whole other level of awesomeness, you definitely need the Swarm Gear Pack. This pack includes a grenade launcher and MP7, both painted in Swarm Yellow, a translucent yellow figure stand, a translucent Riot shield, and the piece de resistance, the flying pod, with translucent movable wings. This stunning piece of equipment attaches to the Swarm Trooper via a peg hole in the back, and the centre of the flying pod features the Swarm logo, which was a late addition to the product and is not shown on the box art. The wings can be moved into 3 different positions, and this brilliantly designed accessory is both imaginative and super cool. When I first got these figures in hand, I phoned Bobby to give him my first thoughts, and the word I kept using was precision. And that's because the precise engineering of these products is what impressed me the most. Everything fits snugly and securely, nothing is floppy or loose, and it's this almost obsessive attention to detail that Bobby has that truly comes across in these figures, and I guarantee that you won't be disappointed with them. We've now inspected all 6 of the core characters, but we still have a shit ton of kit and equipment to go through, so I'm going to bring in the Republic Guard to give me a hand. There are 3 different Republic Guard troopers who have been enlisted into Series 1. The Urban Combat Guard, the Special Ops Guard, and the Riot Warfare Guard. And these reinforcement elements are issued with an alternate head, 4 pairs of hands, and that classic Action Force figure stand. You can use multiples of these Guard troopers to create your own combat squads, and the variety of extra equipment offered by Valaverse means that you can equip them for almost any operation. Naturally, I have equipped the Riot Warfare Guard with the Riot Gear Set. This set utilises most of the same equipment that Condor uses, but it's been manufactured in tactical black.
Does it come in black?
Rather than carry the scar like Condor, the Riot Warfare Guard is issued with an AK-47, and he also carries a 20-litre backpack, which can be opened up by removing the back panel and can be used to stow his extra equipment. One of the most problematic areas in this whole series of product is actually getting the closures snapped together on the vests, but with a little warm water, patience and some tweezers, you should be able to do it. The Urban Warfare Guard is kitted out here with the Urban Gear Set, which is comprised of weapons and equipment from a variety of different loadouts, all of which have been manufactured in a green and grey colour scheme. The Special Ops Guard has not been issued with his own dedicated gear set, but it can be a lot of fun decking him out with a wide assortment of other Action Force weapons and equipment, especially when you have weapons packs Alpha and Bravo. These 2 weapon packs feature a number of Series 1 firearms that are painted in different colour schemes, as well as a variety of weapons which have been designed for Series 2 and 3 troops. A couple of highlights here are the gold-plated Desert Eagle and AK that you can use to give your G.I. Joe Profit Director Destro a bit of extra bling, but my personal favourite is the M249 Squad Assault Weapon. I have a lot of experience firing this belt-fed 5.56mm light machine gun, and the Action Force version is highly accurate and features a folding bipod, a green ammo can and an intricately painted ammo belt that runs from the ammo can into the feed tray of the weapon system. Also included here are a number of blast effect features that simulate muzzle flashes and really breathe life into these troops when they're on display. There are 3 different effects, a small one that plugs into most of the barrels, but they look best when displayed with pistols and suppressed weapons, a larger flash effect that looks better on assault rifles, and the final flash effect which doesn't have a plug. Instead it has a hole so it can fit over the barrel of the saw or the sniper rifle. Speaking from experience, when you're conducting special operations, you need to carry a crap ton of extra kit, and Action Force has you covered there too. The backpack gear set includes 2 different packs and 1 grab bag, all supplied in 3 different colours, so you have 9 options in total. The backpacks also feature the same opening back panel for humping extra ammo and kit, and the grab bags are ideally suited for over-the-shoulder access to spare mags and medical equipment. Now we get to the elite of the elite, and we're going to start off by inspecting the Declassified Gear Set. This set comes with a variety of multicoloured weapons and equipment from other Action Force loadouts, and also features a unique Marine Corps cover, so you can turn your classified gun-ho into a more faithful looking figure. But I believe the right person to use this gear is Sergeant Slaughter, because let's face it, he looks action force as fuck. Now there is one final enemy that we need to fight in this campaign, and that is the BotCon exclusive Wasp Raider, and every squad of Swarm Troops has a Wasp Raider in command. This is the same figure design as the Swarm Trooper, except for the fact that the Wasp Raiders are decorated in a gorgeous metallic green finish and blue translucent eyes instead of yellow. The figure is armed with a pistol and knife and a green painted Vector submachine gun, and is equipped with that incredible flight pod, which this time has a pair of stunning blue translucent wings, which feature that beautifully detailed honeycomb texture. When you consider that the Valaverse company is practically a one-man operation, what they've been able to achieve here is quite mind-boggling. This stunningly impressive first series of product will truly put all other 6-inch scaled action figure manufacturers on notice, but not everyone is pleased with the new Valaverse Action Force toy line. There are pockets of the collecting community who are so connected to the original Palatoy range, they say that this is not their Action Force. But what the fuck does that even mean? These groups have always wanted Action Force to make a return, but they wanted to see a return of Baron Ironblood, the Kraken and the Z-Force. But that isn't the pure essence of Action Force either. That version of Action Force was an evolution of other legendary toy lines that had come before. It's like when Action Man introduced the Space Rangers. It was a huge departure from what had come before, but it was massively successful at the time and has a huge following today. I truly welcome a reimagining of the brand, just like I did back in 1987, when Palatoy's Action Force transitioned to Hasbro's Action Force International Heroes. And that's what this line is. It's the next evolution of Action Force, a brand whose roots stem from my beloved Action Man toy line that dates all the way back to the 1960s. And as a passionate, almost lifelong Action Force fan, I feel truly privileged that the line I love is now in the expertly safe hands of Bobby Vala and the Valaverse Toy Company. Series 1 products are available to purchase now at valaverse.com, where you can also pre-order all of the amazing Series 2 product, including Desert Rat. With Action Force Series 1, Valaverse has made a statement to both collectors and competitors. They have shown us what a modern 6-inch action figure line can really achieve if they pour their heart and soul into its creation and refuse to cut corners. This is the future of modern action figure collecting, and they are Action Force as fuck. To check out some other Action Force mission files, you can click the links up here, and make sure you head over to the valaverse.com website and sign up for the newsletter, so you don't miss out on any valuable intelligence coming from Action Force headquarters. Now I'm Desert Rat, and you squeezers are dismissed.